My name is Christopher. We're here in front of Bill Mauro's constituency office. There's a protest here today regarding the sex ed curriculum here in Ontario. We talked to a number of protesters, and there was actually some counter-protesters on the side of the street as well.
In grade 3, children will be taught the disputed theory of gender identity as if it were fact. 8-year-olds will be taught that whether you're a boy or a girl does not necessarily relate to your physical anatomy. It's merely a social construct. Gender is fluid, and you can choose your own gender. In grade 6, page 175 of the curriculum encourages children to masturbate as a pleasurable way for 11-year-olds to learn about their bodies. It reads as follows, and I quote, "Exploring one's body by touching or masturbating is something that many people do and find pleasurable." In grade 7, the curriculum will teach 12-year-olds about anal intercourse and oral sex. That's on page 196 of the curriculum. Another problem is that it puts anal sex on par with vaginal intercourse without pointing out moral concerns or the astronomically higher health risks that are associated with anal sex, especially HIV infection. That's irresponsible and puts children's lives at risk. Also in grade 7, page 199 of the curriculum instructs teachers on how to introduce the subject of sex. And the petition reads, to the Legislature Assembly of Ontario, whereas in 2010 the Ontario Liberal government promised to consult with voters before implementing a revised sex education curriculum. And we would like to see you present this in Parliament and read it in the Legislature. Yes, and would you like to make some comments?
No. Thanks for the petition.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
Thanks.
What do you think of Bill Mauro's reaction to your speech today?
Yeah, I was very disappointed that he wouldn't give us a comment. I'm not sure what his views are, but I know he has not spoken at all against this curriculum in Parliament. Monty McNaughton is the only MP that has spoken publicly and presented a petition. I was happy he came and he listened to my long speech, but yeah, I was disappointed he didn't give a response.
Do you think he's going to do anything in the future with this, or is he just going to probably ignore you?
Yeah, no, I think he will be thinking. I think we've planted a seed in him, in his mind, and I think with the protests being all across this province, that he is probably realizing that there is a groundswell. People are fed up, and I hope he is rethinking what his views on this. I understand that it is very hard for him to, it's not to go against your party leader and that. Like for Monty, it takes courage, and it would take courage for him, but I hope that he will do the right thing for the sake of our children.
What would you like to see happen now that you've given this speech to Bill Mauro?
Yeah, well, of course, I'm hoping that he will work towards it, but I hope more parents will get out and let other people know exactly what is going on. A good place to start is with lifesitenews.ca. There are reams and reams of articles on this. I especially encourage your listeners to click on to LifeSite News video of Dr. Mary Grossman, a well-known psychiatrist, writer, and author of books. She did a critique of the curriculum, and she explains it very well. She gives credit. There are good parts, but it fails miserably in the sex education part. The sex education part is, she says, it's more about ideology. She says it's not reality. It's not, they have an ideology they want to get across, and I think it's to sexually exploit our young children.
Okay, well, thank you for talking to us at St. Gabriel's Newsroom. And why are you here today?
Well, basically, just the idea that kids are the future of this country, and we would like to see them come up with the education that they should have, and the moral education as well. You know, there's the 3 R's, but there's this sex ed program that they brought in, and I don't agree with it, and I know a lot of other people don't agree with it, but I just think it's important for us to be out, that people that come out to oppose it, and let the government know that there are many people out there that don't agree with the program that they're putting in place for our kids in the future.
Do you feel as if the Ontario government is taking control of the kids?
Definitely. You know, with so many parents that are off working and having their kids in daycare and so on, the parents aren't there to look after them.
And why are you here today?
Well, I'm here because I'm really concerned about this legislation and this sexual education. I feel it's an attack on heterosexual intimacy, and kids are being exposed to images and education that is going to color their future relationships and heterosexual intimacy. I think that Dalton McGuinty said that we would get consultation, and we did not get consultation under Kathleen Wynne's leadership. So I firmly believe that this is going to have a detrimental effect on my 6-year-old daughter and my 9-year-old son. They're both entering grade 1 and grades 5 this year, and they don't need to be exposed to images that are going to confuse them. You know, people are sexualized from a very early age just on the television and marketing. You know, for us to be teaching things that are just really an attack on normal heterosexual intimate relationships, it's really going to cause a lot of problems for our kids. You know, our kids need to grow up in a supportive environment where intimacy is linked to love. I feel that that's really an important message. You know, I believe that the government's trying to take away parents' opportunity to teach their kids about sexual activity and about sex and about procreation and what that's all about.
Do you think the government has overstepped its bounds?
I do, because Dalton McGuinty said publicly that we would get consultation, and to have one person from each area is not proper public consultation. I don't believe that for a minute, and Kathleen Wynne is overstepped by just trying to ram this down the public. Say, here, take it, we're implementing it, too bad, so sad. That's not consultation.
And what do you think about the counter-protesters here today?
You know, they have a right to be here just as anybody else. It's a free country, and they have a message as well. I actually walked over and talked to them and said, have you seen all the curriculum? Have you seen all the images that are going to be portrayed? And they said, yes, they had. And I said, okay, as long as you're making an informed decision, I just want to make sure that you know what it is that you're promoting yourself. I have no problem with that. They have a right to protest just as anybody else does.
Why are you here today?
Well, it's adults' responsibility to use wisdom and discretion in raising the next generation, and I feel that this sex ed curriculum is not a wise or healthy or beneficial choice on behalf of the children of our province.
And do you think the province has overstepped their bounds in the sex ed curriculum?
Yes, there are parts of it that are good, but there are a number of things that hundreds of parents have already expressed their concern about, that content is not being taught age appropriate, and even a lot of content is more for parents within their home to teach their children, and not up to the government or the school with such a large group of kids who aren't all at the same level of development.
Do you have kids yourself?
I do. I have 3.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us here at St. Gabriel's.
Thank